Commissioner McAdoo.
Here.
Commissioner Boyd.
Here.
Commissioner Gooch.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner P. Mayor Carr.
Here. We have a quorum. We want to approve the minutes from the October 4th, 2022 minutes. Carl?
Commissioner Phillips.
Well, first of all, we want to find out, have we read the minutes? Do we want to approve the minutes? Or?
You don't read the minutes, this is the minutes.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I've read the minutes,
Thank
found
you.
everything to be in order, done very well.
Thank you.
So my motion is to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Gooch. Do we have a second?
A second.
We got a second. All those in favor say aye.
We need discussion. We need discussion.
I got to clarify something in the minutes.
Thank you.
Previously, we bought, last purchasing committee, this committee approved the purchase of 2 rollback trucks for
Yes.
solid waste.
Yes.
And part of that discussion, it was asked, did we have to pay sales tax? And I believe it was business tax.
That's correct.
We are exempt from sales tax. We are not exempt from business tax. So I want to clarify what I said, get that correct in the minutes.
Really?
Because the motion included
Yeah, the motion included
business.
It
exempt from
is.
business. Now, they were still the only bidder who could get those trucks within an even close to a timely manner. So we had it was already in the budget. It didn't require any additional funds budgeted. We already had all that budgeted. I just wanted to clarify that. We are not exempt from business tax, so I apologize
Not
for
to
that.
debate the minutes, but can we discuss for a second why Rutherford County is not exempt from a business tax?
So no county is exempt from business tax, just like we're not exempt from hotel motel tax.
Okay.
Sales tax is the only one we're exempt from.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify that for this
Thank
committee.
you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
That
Sorry
clarification for the minutes. Thank you, Michael. Let's start all over. Do we have a motion on accepting the minutes as amended by Mr. Smith? We do.
We do.
Mr. Gooch, do we have a second? We do. By
second
Mr.
it.
Boyd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it as amended. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much.
That's the only reason why you're here?
That was it. Unless y'all need me. Unless y'all need me.
Thank you very much. Now we want to, yep, that was item 4. That was exactly what it is. Now we want to approve for donation to the RSCO from Whelen Engineering. Are we gonna, what do we have here?
It's this right here, sorry.
Oh, so Whelen Engineering are you aware of this? Whelen Engineering let the Sheriff's Office test and evaluate new lights, siren box, and speaker for the patrol cars. They installed equipment on one of the patrol vehicles. Instead of taking the equipment out of the patrol unit and taking a chance of damaging the equipment or the vehicle, Whelen is donating the equipment to the Sheriff's Office for a total value of $7,811.80. This will be in the form of a donation.
Yes, sir.
Officer Spence, is that correct?
That's
Do you have
correct.
something you want to add or say in this regard?
No, sir, just that's correct information.
Okay, and so we need approval on this, and since this is a financial matter, we need to take a roll call vote. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, no, say that again, that they're donating some equipment.
Yes.
Because they didn't want to.
So what happened was Whelen and Debbie Spence, you want to explain this? I can read the letter again, but why don't you come up and explain it in greater detail?
Whelen's a manufacturer of blue lights and sirens and
Right.
so forth. They let us test and evaluate this equipment on one of our cars.
Okay.
We're already doing business with them. It's just some newer equipment. And instead of taking it out, like the mayor said, taking a chance of damaging the car or the equipment, they donated the equipment to stay in the car.
Okay, so we were testing this out.
Yes, sir.
And so instead of taking it out, maybe damaging it, they're just going to let us keep it.
Yes,
as a donation.
So
I understand.
So
that.
Chief Spence, it was for the purposes of evaluation.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And so with the idea that at some point we may, with regard to the what was the purpose of the evaluation?
We may want to upgrade our equipment as the budget allows in the future to go to this newer equipment.
Okay, but there is no stipulation that they would necessarily receive anything going forward as a result of this donation, correct?
No, sir. And we're already doing business with them on other types
Perfect.
of sirens and so forth.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions on this?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Second? Okay, we have got a move to approve in a second. Because this is a financial matter, let's do a roll call vote.
Okay. Commissioner McAdoo.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Mayor.
I think so.
Commissioner Phillips.
Yes. Absolutely. Chief Spence, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look, you might want to stay.
Do you need to stay for another one?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, you'll be staying for another one. Thank you. On number 6, we're gonna defer till December 13th meeting. Bishop Wagner couldn't be here regarding the E-scrap, so we're gonna defer that to the December 13th meeting. And then we got item number 7 is new bids, mental health transport and secondary transportation agents. That's one we're gonna do first. right?
Yes, we received 1 bid.
We received only one?
Yes.
Well, that makes the decision difficult, doesn't it?
Be a lot of debate about that.
Commissioner Phillips, what do we do in these circumstances?
We cut open the package and
And let's see what holds, right?
See if we need a rebid.
That's exactly right. See if we need a rebid. That's exactly right.
Thank you.
4 copies.
I don't know who. And who. Yes.
If it's not out of order, I'm going to ask Chief Spence to kind of explain this a little bit. Do you mind explaining this a little bit, please, sir?
No, sir.
Thank you.
In the past, we've had a third party to do our transports from the sheriff's office. It was a letter agreement, not to charge us, to only charge us for what insurance. The insurance would only be the party that would pay them for transports. We're doing around 1,700 to 1,800 transports a year, mental health. So this year, the state gave us mental health transport grant money to pay third parties to do our transports across the state for the sheriff's office. We received $470,000.
And grant money.
Yes, grant money. And we can use it for transport and we can use it for vans and so forth if we've got money left over. So we wanted to bid out the company to be the contracted company to do our transports.
Okay, and that's what this is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Are you familiar at all with this company?
Yes, sir. Maramed is the one is actually doing our transports now, not charging us. But and I've sent it out to other companies, but I wasn't expecting them to respond. But I want to give them, and we expect Maramed to be the one to respond.
Any questions or comments?
Well, is there a bid based on a per trip or?
It's based on mileage and then emergency, non-emergencies. It's on page 5.
And so is this something that we would, how long is this grant for?
For a year,
For a year.
but they're going to continue. The money's left over at June 30th. It's going to roll over to July 1. And I've stated in the RFP, if the grant's not re-awarded, we wouldn't be able to pay anybody to transport them.
Okay, so based upon this, how long do you think this grant money would last us?
We've had meetings with the state. They haven't stated how long the grant money is going to last.
What I meant, you say we have like 400,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how long would that 400,000 cover us? Or do you have any idea based upon this information here?
No, so this is the first time I've seen the
Gotcha.
pricing.
Okay. And you said if there's any money left over, it could go to purchase?
Transport vans, and it can be used for other types of transport as long as it's readily available for emergency communicals. Because we still have to do emergency communicals if they come from the jail.
What kind of communals? You said?
Emergency
Emergency,
communicals.
okay.
Yes, sir. So that could benefit us if we need a transport van, use this money to buy vans for other uses also.
Any other questions, comments?
I make a recommendation, we go with AmeriMed. They've answered all the questions, the requirements that we asked for them to meet.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote. This is to approve AmeriMed, or recommend AmeriMed.
Commissioner Gooch,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Aye.
Mayor.
Yes. Great.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Anthony Johnson. Oh, I'm
Anthony-
sorry, I
ooh.
skipped you.
It's not the
Commissioner
first time someone
Johnson.
skipped him.
I feel so bad.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, Chief. Yes, you may, Chief. Thank you very much.
He just kidding.
No, Anthony's gonna give you a hard time.
He said
Put him
aye.
down as a yes.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm sorry, I thought you heard me.
All right.
You gonna pass it down so we can sign?
The original, yes.
Yeah.
Can you give her a second to get
No,
everything
no,
ready?
I can't.
Just sign the front.
I need to sign?
He will. And then he'll pass it
Sign
down.
it.
And I have to sign it too?
No, he will.
I did.
And then pass it down.
Anthony, we can't
Do you need mine?
give him a
Is
second.
it blue? Okay, perfect.
We can't give him a second.
Here you go. Is yours blue? Okay. I got it. They'll just pass mine around.
Do you need a blue pen?
I've got it.
Okay.
Yes, you do. You're fine. You're doing fine.
Oops. You're fine.
It's all about process.
Exactly.
I've yet to get it right.
That makes me feel
Now, don't worry
better.
about it. Yes, you do. Wheels of government grind on, don't they, Jeff?
Did you have to forget somebody that was
Okay, good.
With or without us, they grind on.
Oh, well, it'll be the last for me, I promise.
Or you'll call them the wrong name. like I did.
Exactly.
Oh, see, now we're setting them up to do that next time around. I'm gonna have to work something up for the next person.
Thank you.
Now, who are you again? All right, we have one more bid to open up. The election voting system. Mr. Farley, would you like to join us at the table? We would like you to join us at the table.
Election voting system, software, hardware,
Whole shooting match.
whole shooting match.
Whole shooting match.
So this is new voting system. What is, Alan, exactly, what are we talking about? We say a new voting system. That could be anything or part thereof.
This past General Assembly passed legislation. There's 45 counties, us being one of them in the county and state, that does not have a verified paper audit trail. So the state, based on that legislation that was passed, is requiring that all 45 counties adopt voter equipment that have a verified paper audit trail. And then they're providing the funding to go along with that. So through the HAVA Money Help America Vote Act and the Secretary of State's budget will actually do that. So
So this was a state grant for us to purchase
Yes.
equipment that provided that audit trail. Is that accurate?
that's correct. And part of the TCA 212-116, the Election Commission will determine the awarding of this bid. The purchasing committee is the mechanism in order for them to do this process. So what we'll do is take these bids, the Election Commission will determine which voting equipment they want to use, and then we'll come back and then
You'll come back to us with a recommendation.
come back with a recommendation, and then pending funding, then we'll go before Budget Committee, and then of course that funding is kind of like putting the money up front, buying the equipment, then the state will come with the reimbursement through a grant.
Okay.
We'll have the grant contract, and also all the,
Other than providing that audit ability, paper audit ability, what other requirements were there for this new system? Were there any others?
Well, that's the main requirement, is that there be some type of verified paper audit trail on a post-election audit.
Right. Well, if I'm not out of order, the reason I'm asking that question is you and I've had a discussion about hooking up to our voting machines up to the internet and the malware capability of foreign entities. Is there any capability for
In Tennessee, there's no connecting any equipment to internet or no daisy chaining
So
of equipment.
these systems does not create that opportunity?
No, all this does, the same requirements, the same thing, state law didn't change. All it's saying is that this is an added component to our voting equipment.
Okay.
So nothing else changed. I mean, the process
This is strictly audit and
Yes,
functionality.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay, great.
I'm curious, how does you're voting electronically,
correct.
so how does it leave a paper trail?
Okay, well, two things. What you've got is, you do have some that you have a optical scan ballot, which Arizona. What you do is you mark a ballot, then it comes in and they just run them through these scanners.
Right.
But you've got to calibrate your scanners, make sure that they're tabulating correctly. Then you've got the method to where you have the electronic version, but like, say for instance, the equipment that we have now currently could have a component to where you push your button, you confirm your votes. Then when you hit confirm, there would be a screen that will pop up like a scroll, and it will list the office and then list the candidate that you chose. So if you're looking for a District 20 Commissioner, Trey Gooch, but it says Alan Furley, well, you want to go back, you push the wrong button. So you change it to Trey Gooch, and then it will come back up and reconfirm. Then every candidate you voted for would be on that, then you would hit the red button to cast your vote, and it would scroll up. So in the case of an audit, post-election audit, you go back, there will be a QR code assigned to that, then you can go back to the QR code, or you can go by hand and count those votes.
So with this software or whatever, be able to connect to the equipment we already have, or is it all new?
This is a whole brand new voting
Whole
system.
brand new
Yeah,
equipment.
Machines and everything.
machines and everything.
So on page 14, we have the statement at the bottom from Microvote. It says, upon being awarded the proposal, the following services are included for free. The first two elections, EMS database preparation, election day support is $9,400 value. So that's the value they're putting on those first two elections that are for free. Is that correct, Mr. Farley?
Yeah, just looking at this, that would be correct.
Okay, and then on page 23, we have what looks to be a 10-year maintenance and set of service fees part of their proposal.
Yeah,
Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's because what we did, we required, part of our RFP was for them to do a 10-year outlook, because in some cases what would happen, some people would front load a savings and then they'd back load,
Correct.
Make up the difference. So we wanted to make sure we looked at a 10-year outlook to see exactly what their cost would be over that 10-year.
Okay, then also, can you explain page 24 for us, please, where the total amount is $1,529,900?
Okay, what we asked for was 340 voting machines. So those machines were $4,350 a piece for a total of $1.479 million. The spare VPAT, which would be 20 of those compartments, of what you would do is say early voting. Because you do have a chain of custody through ballots, you have a chain of custody, to whereas the ballot never leaves. Once it's been cast, you have control of that ballot for the time that's being cast, whether it's a paper ballot, from an absentee standpoint, from the time it's received by us. So what you would do is early voting, there's only a certain amount of votes that can be cast on those rolls. So this here would be an additional compartment that would go, you would replace that, remove that one, put it in its place. Then you would have a chain of custody for that compartment, that roll. So that way you don't have the opening of the equipment, you know, you're opening with voters and you're taking it out and, okay, well, who's looking at it, who's exposed to it, so that way you have a chain of custody, so then that comes out, from that, so that would be additional, pieces of that, so which is $1,950 a piece. And then the transportation delivery charge, for all the equipment, is $11,900. I may say if I can get that bid, we get that contract.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. So, for a total bid of, I say that, I'm just kidding, but I can't do that, but make sure that's clear. But, total bid would be $1,529,990. That's, all pricing is good for 90 days, with Microvote.
So am I to understand correctly that their bid is $1,529,900? That's the
correct.
total. That's the total bid.
Just looking at this just quickly, yeah,
Yes,
I mean, I
sir.
hadn't had a chance to digest this, just first time I've seen it, but yes, that would be correct.
How much is, you said the state was awarding money to?
It would be $1,529,900.
So whatever we choose,
Right.
that's what the state will pay.
This is this a no match grant?
Correct.
Okay.
Because it's actually, this is legislation that they passed, so they're required to provide the funding with it, so it's
Okay.
one of those.
I got you.
Of course, there's some counties that made this change last year on their own dime, but they were kind of upset because they were not part of this deal, so we held out to the end.
Are you familiar with Microvote?
Very
As a
familiar.
company and their technology, their integrity, their reliability, those kinds of things?
American owned, if I want to pick up the phone and call the CEO right now, I can do it, I've done it before.
Speak English.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
That's a good question, by the
And
way.
I've actually seen this piece of equipment, and tested an election in Indiana.
And are you aware of how long this piece of equipment or like similar equipment has been in use?
It was certified in Indiana in 2019.
Okay.
So,
So it's relatively new.
yeah, it's relatively new. I mean, I've actually seen it, went up, John Mellencamp's brother was running for council up in Seymour, Indiana. So there was actually, that was a different story, but anyway. But Indiana state election went on and well, there's some Mellencamp's, I mean, that's kind of a common name, but anyway, so.
We are off the rails.
Yeah, so anyway, but it, verified that election.
All right.
I've seen it in action.
I'm a little confused about what we're doing here today.
This is the mechanism to receive the bids, and then the election commission will actually pick and choose if they want to accept this format or not, and then if they do, they'll come back.
With a recommendation or not?
With a recommendation
So
for-
there's nothing for us to do today than just to open the bids.
Right.
And then send them to the election commission
Right.
and wait on action
Right.
from the election
Right.
commission.
That's what I was asking. What are we doing here
Right.
today? Nothing but looking at it.
Talking about it, kicking
Right.
the tires.
How many bids come in?
Just
One.
the
Just
one.
one.
This one.
This is actually our current.
So you're not looking for a recommendation from us?
Not yet.
Well, no, I mean, what?
To the election commission?
No, because basically, under 212-116, duty to promote voter registration and electoral process, item 3 under 212-116, upon the recommendation of the administrator, the commission shall be responsible for approving any voting equipment to be purchased by the county for the use by the commission. And this has actually been litigated in Shelby County as well.
So one final question on my part. When's the next meeting of the election commission?
it's on our agenda for the 21st, Monday.
Okay,
of
November. So
We'll
this
start-
we can see if it come back on the 13th to us. of
Correct.
December.
What we'll do is we'll go ahead, we will actually discuss this, vote on this then, and then we'll come back to the budget committee December the 8th, I believe it is, and then pending funding, it come back here, and then go to the full commission.
Okay. Excellent.
So what if the election commission has one thing to look at,
Correct.
and
They
if
don't
they
like
decide
everything.
they don't like it?
We'll
Rebid.
put that for rebid.
Okay, and do you happen to know, just by looking at this, what you have been able to, when the first election, when it's chosen, what election would be the first election?
It'd be the March 5th of 2024, would be the presidential preference primary.
Okay, so they look.
On the county, we'll have the property assessor and the road superintendent will be on that ballot.
Okay. But that's not the first election.
That's the first scheduled election. We could have a special election.
Right, okay.
Hopefully not in an off year,
So
but.
this will be in time for the first
Yes,
election.
yeah, they'll have the time of delivery of the equipment if it's chosen, and then, of course, the training aspect will be very minimal because we're very familiar with the system. But yeah, so we will go in February of '24 will be the first early voting period for this equipment.
And I know this is just not part of any of this, but the election that was in Laverne, I think, was with this one vote spread. So is there a rule or anything about an automatic recount based upon the difference of a vote and kind of a percentage?
There's not a recount provision in Tennessee in the statute, so at that point, if anybody would want to recount, your alternative would be to go to Chancery Court and file a contest of election in Chancery Court, and of course, it's upon the expense of the person filing the request.
Would this make a recount easier? Or more
Very much so,
difficult?
yes. Yeah.
Thank you for that relevant follow-up question. I was wondering where we're going, Commissioner, and you made it plainly clear why that was a relevant question. So yeah,
What was
that
my question about again?
Well, the narrowness of the vote, the one vote
Yeah,
difference,
right.
and
Yeah.
would this
Right.
piece of technology assist the
Right.
election commission in making sure all
Like
votes were
this piece
equally
of
fairly
equipment.
cast? So thank you.
This piece of equipment here, you have multiple ways of tying it back.
Yeah.
So adding the paper trail, you actually have, and with the QR code, you can count it by hand, or you can also count it by the QR code. Adds 2 more ways, so you have 5 ways to audit back, and it should come back to the same number.
Great. There is no action needed on this particular bid opening until it comes back before the purchasing committee. And if there are no further questions or comments, Mr. Farley, thank you very much.
Thank you.
When does the election commission
You need this for the commission.
The November 21st, Monday night, we'll certify the November election, and then we'll take this under consideration.
Finally, is there any other business before the purchasing committee?
What's our next meeting date?
December 13th, without objection.
Is that like the second Tuesday of every month?
You're looking at me as though I would know the answer to that question. I will go with the sure.
Normally it is the third Tuesday, but we have to shift because of the holidays. So that may be very well
Yeah.
may be the second one, but usually it's the third Tuesday.
Whatever she says.
But the 13th is for sure.
Yes,
Yes,
it is the
yes.
13th.
At 4:30.
November.
I'm
we-
not trying to be
yes,
obtuse,
December
Commissioner. I
gets
just
shifted
like what
around.
you asked me for. Oh, thank you. Anyway. Yes, yeah, Commissioner Johnson. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say, Alan Farley, thank you for the awesome job you did during the election, and every day.
Well, I appreciate that. I wish I could take credit for it, but I've got a wonderful staff, and
Well-
we've got about 400 great poll workers
Yes.
that do a great job, so
Yes.
that's a tribute to them.
But you do an awesome job too.
I appreciate that.
You do. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments or other business? If not, we stand adjourned.
Now, like,